Hello everyone, and I hope that you're well.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're well as well. So today is our second episode of the Basant series, and if you can see, we have some nice kites which look really nice and colorful, and that's exactly how the kites would look like on a Basant day in Lahore.
We worked hard on those.
Yeah.
They were good fun to make. Okay, so to do the next recipe for the Basant festival, we've chosen to make...
It's Nan Khatai, Lahori Nan Khatai, which is a delicacy from the gated city of Old Lahore. It's from Mochi Gate. If you go there, you get very, very nice Nan Khatais. That's another memory because that's from where I used to go and buy the kites from as well. It can be double fun if you want to get some Nan Khatais, get your kites, and you're all set for a nice Basant day. Okay,
so Nan Khatai is a sweet dish, for those of you who are not sure what it is.
Slightly similar to shortbread biscuits, if you want to just understand what it might be. It's like a biscuit, but it's done slightly differently. It has roasted almonds in it, and it's made with plain flour and Basin, which is gram flour. So it tastes really nice. We'll show you how we make Nan Khatais the traditional way from it. So let's get started with the ingredients. So we have about 3/4 cup of Desi Ghee, which if you convert to ounces would be 7 ounces of Desi Ghee. About 4/5 of a cup of plain flour, which in ounces would be approximately 8 ounces. Then we have caster sugar, which is about 6 ounces or 2/3 of a cup. 2 egg yolks, gram flour or Basin, which is 2 ounces or 1/5 of a cup. So the ratio between gram flour and plain flour is 4:1. So 4 parts of 4 parts of plain flour and 1 part of gram flour. So we have baking soda, which is about 1/2 teaspoon, baking powder 2 teaspoons, about 1 teaspoon of crushed seeds of green cardamom. We have a brush to glaze egg yolk on top of the biscuits, and we have about slightly more than 1/2 cup of almonds, which you see are on a pan. We will be roasting these almonds before using them. So let's get started with the baking process. So as a first step, what I'm doing is I'm just dry roasting almonds. So once they are dry roasted, they'll be ready to go in the baking process. These Nan Khatais have full or half almonds in the dough, which tastes really nice when you take a bite once the cookies are done. But it's important to roast these almonds. So in a couple of minutes, they have started developing a little color, and that's pretty much what we are aiming for. So we'll just switch off the heat now and take these almonds off.
So Omer has now done the almonds, so we are pretty much ready to start baking. So first things first, preheat your oven. So I've got it on a fan setting at 190 degrees, and I'll also be greasing my tray as well. You can just use butter, or you can use like a baking sheet. That also is great for like non-stick so up to you. Let's start with binding everything together. I'm going to take the ghee, transfer it into a bowl. I'm also going to be using an electric whisk to bind this together, but if you've got a non-electric whisk, that will also do absolutely fine. In goes the sugar. And the powdered cardamom. Okay, let's begin. I think that is about done now. So now to add the other powdered ingredients.
Looks nice and fluffy.
Yeah, so the consistency you want, this was just by beating those ingredients together for a couple of minutes with the electric whisk, but it should just become nice and fluffy, very light, so that's the kind of texture you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to get on with the next stage. This is putting all the powdered dry ingredients into the mixture we already have. So I've got a sieve. I'm going to sieve all these ingredients directly into the mixture already, because then we are going to take a wooden spoon and we're going to fold the mixture together very gently, and this is really important that you don't knock any air out, so that's why I am directly putting my sieved ingredients on top of already the nice fluffy mixture.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. Generally, what I don't have great baking knowledge, I would have probably sieved it separate and then transferred it on top with almonds. But by doing that, you lose the air, which is the sieve process. So the whole concept, it doesn't make sense otherwise.
And it's, yeah, so right now I've got the flour, which I'm putting in, but can you see I've got a lot of height, and I'm sieving all of those things through. And if you were to then, as I was saying, pour that again as another stage, you would knock out quite a lot of that air. So that's why I like to sieve directly on top, and then I'll show you the technique of folding, which is very slow, it's very gentle. And that's to just try and keep that air in. You don't want to go at it right at the beginning with like quite a harsh whisk. Anyway.
So what's going in? So that was ground flour?
Yep. We've now got the...
No, sorry, that was plain flour.
Yeah.
Now ground flour is going in.
Yeah. I like this bit, it's quite relaxing. You know, make a nice little snowy mountain.
So it's a nice halwai to have on a Basant day, who can make Nan Khatais while you're enjoying the kites. So yeah, I was just looking, I love reading about history, ancient history and history of anything literally, whether it's religion, whether it's non-religion. I enjoy reading about history. So I was looking up history about Basant, and traditionally, yes, it started, it's very ancient, this festival. In the Hindu language, it's Sanskrit language, it's called Basant, which is from V, and it started way back in the ancient times, but it did change over time, and in pre-partition India and Pakistan, it was mostly, I believe, in the rural Punjab that this festival would be celebrated the way we know it in Lahore, similar to that. It did change over time after partition as well. Kite flying was quite common on the day. Basant was marking of the arrival of spring season, and the color which is associated with Basant is yellow, and generally what men would, I think, wear yellow turbans in Punjab back in the days. It still is quite common, and women would have yellow dupattas. So dupatta is like a scarf, so they would have yellow scarves, and some women, I would think, would wear the whole yellow clothes as well. And for food as well, I think yellow color is what you will see in most foods on Basant. Aloo paratha, that if you look at that batter, that's a bit on the yellow side because you add turmeric powder to it. Even the halwa, I remember, which was made on Basant Day, we used to add little bit of saffron to it just to give it that a little bit of color, which was very nice for a Basant Day. So yes, yellow color was quite dominant on the celebrations of Basant. After partition, the way it changed, it became more of a kite flying and a party concept. I think the traditional, it's not a religious festival, I must say. It's more of a cultural and regional festival which has been going on for centuries and centuries. I think what has changed since partition is that it originally it was a day festival, but when it got associated mostly with kite flying, it would be evening of the previous day, from the Basant Day, evening of the previous night, followed by the Basant Day. And what generally would happen on the evening is white kites would be very popular, and that's what I have memories of, buying lots of white kites which would be visible in the sky at night, and we would do that. There would be food, there would be music, and it's the whole family and friends, they would get together, and it would be quite a nice time for everyone, lots of fun, lots of food, night kite flying, floodlights on literally every rooftop that I remember. I used to have couple of floodlights myself being a child, and I would lit those at night. It was, I think, 1000 watts each, so that was lots of light. So yeah, I think over the years, the festival which has always happened in Lahore, it was banned in 2005, which I understand thinking about it, but I personally feel that there were things which got associated with the Basant festival and which were against health and safety, and lots of people, they got injured and lost their lives. There were some people who started using certain chemicals on the kite flying thread, which resulted in being very dangerous. I'm totally against that, and I think that should never have happened and should not be allowed again as well. But having said that, I feel that whatever was wrong with this such rich cultural festival should have been taken care of instead of banning the whole Basant festival. So I personally believe that such things should never be allowed again, and but the festival should be able to continue without the elements of these chemical threads, and which were against health and safety and which were very dangerous actually. So I'm all up for Basant festival. The food, the cultural richness, the color, the traditional way of kite flying, it should all still happen, but without the dangerous chemicals on the threads. That should not be allowed back. So that was some history about Basant pre-partition of India and Pakistan and since partition. And it's a beautiful festival, and I think there were lots of songs associated pre-partition, post-partition. with Basant as well, and it was all Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus all would come together to celebrate this festival.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, back to cooking. So I've sieved in the flour, the basin, and the two raising agents, the baking powder and baking soda. And I'm now going to do the folding technique. So it's all in there, nice and light, my snowy mountain. So you go round the side and then you fold onto the top. And you repeat this until the mixture has folded in nicely and bound together. So you can also go one line in the middle and round. So down the middle, and then collect all that ingredients around the side and fold it into the middle. And then you can twist the bowl, it's quite nice, down the middle, around the outside. And you can see it's already bounding together, but it's keeping it nice and airy. And this is how you fold. And then once it's sort of more bound together, you can give it more of a mix through, so it kind of comes together a bit easier. And then we'll be adding the almonds as well. And we're looking for it to come together so that it makes sort of similar biscuit batter, really. Nice and sticky. But yeah, patience. So I've been folding these ingredients for about 2 minutes, and you can already see that there's hardly any mixture left around the outside, no flour, and this has literally just been from my folding technique. I've not been whisking it any harder than that. So it does come together, doesn't take too long, and you can kind of see it beginning to gather and become one nice dough. So I'll start off with a handful and fold those in. Add a few more. So my mixture, it has been nicely prepared. Just in case I haven't already mentioned, I've greased my tray. I prefer to use butter greased rather than buying like a kitchen baking paper. But you can do that if you've got some to hand. So what am I doing? I've just taken sort of a palm-sized piece, which is going to be one of the biscuit Nan Khatais. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of roughly roll it into a ball. It is slightly on the stickier side, so just sort of work it gently. And once it's into a nice shape, I'm going to just put it directly onto the tray. So I'm down to my last one now, and I'm just going to shape this one as much as I can. There we go, flatten it so it sort of makes a little bit more of a roundish shape. But this is the kind of look you want. And I've just put it on the tray. I'm now going to glaze them with some egg wash and pop them into the oven for 15 minutes. I'm just quickly whisking those 2 egg yolks together so that I can glaze the top of our khatais. It already looks so tempting. Okay, I've got a little brush, but by all means use anything you have to hand, a bit of tissue, or even just getting a small bit on a teaspoon. I'm just going to gently coat. Make sure you get those sides so they become nice and shiny. Be very gentle with this batter because it is rather sticky. So just very lightly. Okay, I'm going to pop them into the oven, middle shelf, 190 degrees fan. And just do it nice and quickly so that you don't lose too much heat from the oven. So it's been 15 minutes, I'm now going to take them out the oven. So they have now come out of the oven, and I just want to share with you quickly that they are going to be very crumbly when you first take them out of the oven. So it's really important that you just let them rest for a good 5 minutes, and you'll see that they'll start to become a little bit firmer, a little bit harder, and then you can transfer them onto a nice cooling rack similar to the one I've got here, just to kind of let it cool down completely. But if you try to move them straight away, they could just fall apart. So just be patient and let them cool for a good 5 to 10 minutes once you've taken them out of the oven. But they've been cooling now, probably about 20 minutes or so. So I think I would like to try one. So we have now come to the end of our Basant series, and we are going to finish it off by trying our Nan Khatai. It's nice and fresh out of the oven. I thought we'd try one.
It's very fresh. Yeah.
Half an hour fresh out of the oven. It's just had enough time to cool, what I just mentioned to you.
It looks very similar to the authentic one. It's very fresh still. I hope it will taste exactly the same as well, but we're going to try. The original one is crumbly. So yeah. So you see the whole almond with this Nan Khatai in there, and if you see inside the dough, whole almonds, that's what I remember from the authentic one. So come on, Faye, give it a try.
Oh yeah. That is very good. That is sweet, nutty, crumbly. It is like shortbread actually. It's got a similar texture, like a really homemade shortbread. It's very similar to that. This is another tea round, I think. Tea and this. I need to get to a nut as well. This is lovely.
I'm really happy the way they have baked, and it's as it has just taken me back to the memories of Nan Khatai from Mochi Darwaza, and I think it's lovely. Do try this recipe. I think if you like Nan Khatais, you would love it.
So I guess Noel's now going to tuck into that now. Now that he's gone back to his childhood and Lahore. So we really hope that you've enjoyed this 3-part series based around the festival of Basant. We've definitely enjoyed creating nice kites, talking to you a little bit about the festival, and obviously baking some nice food. And we really hope that you've enjoyed it and learned something, maybe perhaps from these videos as well. So please check out our social media, because we've got a lot more Basant themes going on our Instagram in particular, so do check that out as well, and give this video a like, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. It's much appreciated, and any feedback you have is also greatly appreciated for us. So I guess we'll see you again very soon. Take care and goodbye.
Bye for now.